what an honor to be used in such a way that I get to be a voice.
Yeah.
And a voice that matters.
Yeah.
For this generation.
Yeah. Hello, Wisdom and Wellness family. Welcome to another podcast. I'm so excited about today's guest. But before we even go there, this month it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we will be talking a lot about mental health. Do check out our Instagram page, our platforms, and all the cues that we'll be bringing on just to make sure that people are educated. And today's guest, Nozibele Mayaba, right?
Yes, Mayaba.
Oh, Mayaba. Nozibele Mayaba is joining me. She is a self-published author. She's a podcaster, award-winning YouTuber, TV host, and the list goes on and on and on. Girl, when did all these things happen?
Hey, Betuna. Hey, it's been a journey and a half. Okay.
Sure.
But I'm blessed, man. I'm really blessed. Honestly.
You're working. A girl's working.
I have to.
Are you still enjoying your work? Like, do you love it,
do.
or do you feel like your plate is very full?
You know what? Sometimes I'm always on the run.
Yeah.
And like, okay, we just finished this. We need to do this.
Next
we
thing.
Need to, and my husband is one person who's like, hey, lady, can you just slow down?
Yeah.
Do you understand what you just did?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand
Yeah.
what we have accomplished now? So can you also be in the moment, and then we'll continue achieving. So I have a good balance.
Okay.
But generally, if I was alone, honestly, I would have a tough time. I will actually sometimes think, oh my goodness, I'm not doing enough.
Right?
I'm not doing enough.
And then you look back and then you're just like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Just even this year, I was having a moment just not so long ago. Oh my goodness, I didn't achieve anything this year.
Really?
And my husband was like, are you crazy? Do you understand what we just did over the last 10 months?
I feel like we suffer from the same thing. Like, and I think it's good to get in the moment and actually reflect back. So I write things down. So now I need to always go back and say, okay, you've done this, you've done this, you've done. My husband said to me, if you never did if you don't do another thing this year, it
will still be fine.
Like, you've done enough. Kuphelele. And I was
okay.
like, there's no way. We're only in September.
I plan already in the next 2 months. This is what we need to do. We need to end off with 2022 on a bang.
You know what? I think it comes from COVID, though. I think COVID slowed us down so much that when we came out, we were just like, I need to do more. I need to achieve this. Life is too short. But I also think now, on the other side, we also need to recognize that it's not healthy to be that way.
No, I would drive myself mad if I continue on, because it also affects you mentally.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
And you start thinking you're not enough.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a weekend that, like, for 2 months, every weekend there was something, right? So there was one weekend where I didn't do anything. Then I started thinking, okay,
I'm not
maybe
worthy.
Abantu, I'm not invited anymore. I'm not invited anymore. What's going on? Why do I not have an event or something like that?
Yeah.
Why do I not have a speaking event? And you're like, no, lady, like
It's
is
okay.
good. It's okay. You actually need the rest.
Sure.
You need the rest. So we need to be easy on ourselves.
We do. So I've got a few questions for you before we start. One, what did you listen to on your way here?
Oh my goodness, a bunch of things. No Woman and Cry by Bob Marley. I don't know why.
Deep. Oh, no.
I know.
Okay. What's going on?
After a while, I was like, okay, I think I need to change.
Yeah.
And then I listened to Coldplay.
Coldplay,
Yes.
which song?
Viva la Vida, I think, something like that, and Fix You. Listen,
Your playlist is...
I know. And then lastly, just as I was about to get into your driveway, I listened to Ndogozo.
Ndogozo Mbambo.
Yes.
Oh.
Funny. So literally from Bob Marley to
Coldplay to Ndogozo. Love it for you, girl. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh gosh. It's not good for me, and I've tried to stay off from them. Chicken licking wings.
Me too.
To be
Okay,
fair,
but for the rest of your life?
no, definitely.
No.
I haven't had any for the past 2 months, so it's
Really?
good. I'm trying. I'm trying to be very healthy.
Okay, I love it for you. We've seen
okay.
it. I love it for you. Okay, what's one thing people don't know about you? This can be a good thing, a special thing, a sweet thing.
I
bad
can
thing.
sing. Okay.
Okay. Would you ever release an album?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely
Wait,
not.
were you in like a choir? No, but we do know you can sing.
First
Don't
of
say
all-
that. No. We know you can sing. So that's not
No,
valid.
it's just that people think like I can't because
Why?
sometimes
We are
Square and I
Vanessa.
fool around.
Yes.
And first of all, I was in a church choir. I
Okay.
was a lead singer in a church choir. And secondly, I was also in a school choir.
Okay.
So I went to one of the Christian schools.
Okay.
Right? And we'll have worship every Fridays.
Yeah.
I was
You
in the
were
worship
leader.
team.
Okay.
Not really the leader. But
Does,
then
does anybody else think that or just you? What does Ku think? Here comes Lila. We'll just leave her.
hey Lila, school thinks otherwise. That
Okay.
I can hold a note.
I think so too. I mean, I listened. The first note you pulled out, I was like, this is really good. And then you and Scoot did something. I was like, at least you're on key.
Always happens like that.
At least you're on key. But just to get into our conversation, you spoke, I just watched a few of your things and I watch a lot of your conversations. And what I draw from you is a lot of self-acceptance. But what I know about self-acceptance is that we on the other side can perceive that. And maybe on your side, you're working very hard every day to make sure you accept yourself as Unozi.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with self-acceptance?
Yo, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
In particular, I think it started when I was diagnosed with
Yeah.
HIV. So in 2013, I had a tough time just dealing with the diagnosis. So for the first couple of months, I think I was in denial.
Yeah.
And back then, my partner was still around. So it was all in the notion like, okay, this was not the most ideal situation.
Yeah.
Because when I met him, I was a virgin.
Yeah.
And I'd been waiting for someone, the ideal
Oh,
man.
no.
And I'm going to get married and I'm going to give myself to this person.
Oh, my.
And yeah, that didn't plan out that way.
Yeah.
And I think there was a level, obviously, of manipulation because he was older than me. And he's streetwise. And I grew up in a family that's very conservative.
Yeah.
You go to school, you come back.
Yeah.
You go to church, you come back. There's
That's
nothing
it.
else you do.
Sure. And you're a
So-
good girl.
I'm a good girl.
Yeah.
I listened to my mom and all of those things. So when he met me, he was able to use that language to suit obviously himself
Yeah.
and the situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this person is already committed. So whether or not we do this
We're
now
going
or
to
later,
get married anyway.
it's only a matter
Sure.
of technicality. So I gave myself to this person, and the last thing honestly on my mind was I need to protect myself against HIV
It's
diseases.
your first time. You're committed.
I mean,
that's what it sounds. Yeah.
that's it. I think the only thing I was more concerned about is I better not get pregnant. Because then pregnancy is evidence. But
Sure.
when you've been very bad, right? That was the only thing that I was worried
Sure.
about. And so I think about
Your mind couldn't think that this person could be sick.
no.
He didn't look.
No.
Didn't suit the stereotype.
None whatsoever. He's fine, he's healthy. ungumfana nje. Yabona? So a couple of months after that, I'm at work, and then kukho wellness day event. And we're encouraged to go
Yeah.
and participate.
Yeah.
And one of the things we have to test for HIV. For me, honestly, last thing on my mind, I'm actually thinking, I have a meeting
I don't
go
need to do this.
And the nurse is like, oh, okay, we've done one test. We need to do a second test. I'm like, okay.
What does that mean?
I didn't need to do a second test. She's like, no, the other one was not clear. I'm even mad. I'm like, why do I have to be the special person whose test is not clear? The other people, I'm sure the test was clear. Why does it have to happen to me? And she says, no, it's fine. We'll do another one. She does another one. She put both tests in front of me.
Sure.
And says, you've tested positive for HIV. I was
Are you
shocked.
fully sexually active at this
Yes.
point? Sure.
Very much so. And obviously at home they don't know, so I
Yeah.
have to plan these things very carefully. I'm working, and so sometimes when I go on business trips, the business trip takes 2 weeks, okay, on top of the week that I'm out, ne?
Sure.
And then I have to go out with friends on weekends. There's Imnandi
You have a way of playing.
Yes.
I'm in awe when I listen to your story every time. I'm in awe of how one moment, just
right.
one moment where you almost betray yourself or you betray everything you've known can change your entire
That's what I
life.
couldn't get over. The fact that I'm like,
It
it was
was one
one
moment.
mistake.
Yeah.
It was one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a couple of people that made several mistakes.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand when I was having my conversations with God. I'm like, why would you punish me like that?
Sure.
That was too harsh. But I was 22. So to navigate all of that, I was still young.
a baby.
And also alone, right?
Yeah.
So at first, I tell this to my partner, and he's like, he doesn't know what happened. I'm like, listen, you cannot know what happened because you know I was a virgin when I met you. So it didn't fall out of the sky. Did you know? Did you intentionally infect me? Like, what was going on? And I just never got anything.
So till today, you don't
Till
have an
today,
answer?
I don't know. I really don't know. But things started going like down the hill because at first I was like, okay, we're gonna get through to this
Together.
together, and it's gonna be okay because I can't tell my mom.
No, you're
It would just
22,
kill her.
Boenzani.
It would just kill her. And so, but then after a couple of months, hey, uyachinja. Hey, uyasela. They're drinking. There's girls involved. Hey, bo. Like, where are you leaving me now? Up until a point where there was no turning back. The relationship
So in
ended.
that moment, you were not angry that you were infected. In fact, instead you were trying to make it work. Do you think it was a coping mechanism that at least I've got you and we in this?
It was. Because the reason why I'm saying also it was, right after he left, that's when it started going down the hill for me.
Okay.
But oh my goodness,
I'm
alone.
Actually real.
Yeah,
this is happening.
real.
Yeah,
I'm alone. I thought we were going to do this together. The only person besides our doctor that knows what's going on. So I have to face this alone. I can't go back to my family. So, and then I started, and like I honestly had a tough time. I tried to commit suicide a number of times.
Really?
I don't know how many sleeping pills that I tried to take. And then I had just bought my mom a house. So, and then there was a clause in the insurance where they're like, if you commit suicide in the next 2 years, we're not going to pay anything out. So I'm like, okay, Mama cannot be out of the house. Mama cannot be out of the house.
Sure.
So maybe after 2 years, and then we'll see how I feel, right? But then...
That's actually interesting. I know it's a moving thing that you want to say, but it's actually interesting how sometimes the need to serve and help other people can pull us out of something.
It was too painful though. It was too painful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that obviously that whole thing like of me committing suicide, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the fact that I had to put others first sometimes at my expense.
Yeah.
It was too painful.
Yeah.
And so after a while I'm like,
But it
okay.
saved you.
It saved me. It did definitely.
Yeah.
Then after a while I'm like, okay, Kelly, like you need to get yourself together. But how do I do that? Right? So I'm going back to your question about how, your
relationship
acceptance. The first thing I needed to accept is the apology that I never received.
Sure. Which is extremely hard.
I was waiting for that apology. I was waiting for him to say, you owe me. You know you did me dirty. You know the position that I'm at now is because of you.
Because of you, yeah.
And I need some kind of acknowledgement from you. And there was none. For years I waited.
Till today.
Yeah. And I was like, surely you can't just move on with your life. Surely, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
When you move on, just before you sleep, you don't think about it? No, there's nothing.
No way.
So accepting the apology that I never received and working through that.
Yeah.
And the second thing is apologizing to myself.
Yeah.
Because no one forced me to go into the relationship.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing. It's like, lady, you are also wrong.
You made a decision.
You made a decision.
Yeah.
No one forced you.
Yeah.
There was so many opportunities where there were many things that you could have done, protected yourself. So many things, man, you didn't. But you willingly went into the relationship and you exposed yourself.
Yeah.
And so for that, acknowledge the part that you played.
Sure.
Yeah, when I get I shame that was, I was like, no, I don't want to acknowledge. I did nothing wrong. Like, no, you did. And acknowledge that it happened and what can you learn from this.
Yeah.
And I believe God was already clear on his message, even from the onset.
Yeah.
But I want to use the story.
Sure.
I was like, I guess I saw it.
I'm not the one.
You can use any other story, but not this one.
Not this one. This is my secret.
Yeah. Because I understood what it would take.
Yeah.
For God to use that story.
Yeah. You firstly have to accept and then you have to be vulnerable and you have to be honest and I think when it comes to vulnerability, you can't God cannot use your story until you're okay with it.
Thank you very
much. So you
much.
first have to get to a place where you're okay with it. Even my mom and I shared that's just the beauty of vulnerability, to say it's no longer my shame. It's no longer my shame.
Guys, I was like, then I need to disclose now to my mom as well. I need to disclose to the rest of the family. And that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I was definitely sure that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But as time went by, see, I don't know anything else but God. I don't know anything else but, my faith. So it was not even a matter of I had a choice.
Sure.
As much as I was so mad, at God for doing
all
this.
You've got.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back. So what do you want me to do?
Sure.
Okay. So if you want me to use the story for good, I need you to take care of a couple of things. I need you to take care of me. I need you to take care of my family. Already when I go to Mama, already I'm hoping you would have laid the ground for me.
Yeah.
Because that was the hardest thing that I needed to do. Disclose to my mom. And it took me 6 years.
I know.
Like from 2013, and I disclosed only 2019 to my mom.
And your mom never ever suspected anything?
I mean, she suspected that maybe it was a breakup. Yeah, one.
Oh, she noticed there was a change.
Yes.
Yeah.
She noticed there was some change. But it was mostly like, oh, maybe it's just a hard breakup.
Yeah.
It was a first boyfriend. Although, like, I branded it obviously as a friend. No, this is my friend. But obviously, moms know.
See,
And so now that she was not seeing this person anymore, no, it's a breakup. It's nothing that deep.
Is your mom a very traditional woman?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Very traditional.
Have you ever had a sex conversation with your mom? Oh, okay. It's that kind of family where
even now it's actually very funny, because I was having an interview with someone and I said to them, as a married woman, I'm actually dreading the conversation where I need to tell my mom, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Hi, Gail. What do you mean? What do you mean?
We don't have that type of relationship.
But do you not find it necessary to start that type of relationship?
I try. Ne?
How?
First of all, I introduced my husband before we got married.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really a big deal. Ne? That is as far as I can go.
Okay. There's no way.
As far as I can go.
I think it's important though.
It's very.
Those mother-daughter relationships, like, they can save us from so many. And my story, I was sexually abused at the age of 14, right? And the only reason why I probably would have fallen pregnant, the only reason I didn't get pregnant or didn't get sick is because I told my mother and she took action immediately. And I think that's what saved me. And it's because my mom and I just had that relationship, and we've continued to have, and that's why I encourage mother-daughter relationships.
It's very important.
So much, because for 6 years, you didn't have to be alone.
I did not. Now that I saw, like, just her response, obviously she was hurt.
Of course.
I mean, I think
we can't take away pain.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Like, she was crying on the phone because we had already relocated. That's another thing. We had already relocated to Johannesburg, and school was like, "Okay, we need to go down." I'm like,
it's not
maybe
necessary.
we can just like start on the phone, and then we can follow up. Actually, at the end of the day, I was not the one who told her, even though she encouraged me. Like, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me something?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. I just could not. So she ended up going to my brother to find out, listen, I know you're close. There's something serious she wants to tell me, but she's not telling me. What's going on? And my brother eventually told her what was going on.
Sure.
So she came back to me on a call and she was crying that broke my heart.
Sure.
I think that honestly, that broke my heart. And just working through all of those things and her being able to understand like the dynamic and the complexities of my relationship with my husband, because for a long time, Umama would be so apologetic to school, so apologetic, overly the top, like we'll visit home, school is being nursed around. I'm like, hey man.
But isn't that just a mother?
She was over the top. She was over the top. Honestly, I even told my brother to please sit her down. And that's when I discovered that Umama thinks like I infected the school.
Oh.
So she thinks I didn't tell the school my status up until it was later on. We got married, and the school is probably also
And now
HIV positive.
yeah.
So she's trying to now cover this shame. Yabona, I'm so sorry that this happened. I'm hoping you are going to forgive my
Yeah,
daughter. I was
like-
like, there's none of that.
I actually want to speak about shame. What do you feel like for 6 years you've carried shame? Do you still feel like you carry shame, or did you actually even experience shame? And how has that relationship been with shame? Do you feel like you still carry shame, or you've let go of shame the minute you were saying, hey, this is me?
Yeah. Before I disclosed, obviously I was open about my story. Those 6 years, definitely there was a sense where what did I do? And obviously it also encompasses this burden that you're carrying on a daily basis,
Yeah.
because I come to
Every day, yeah.
and you're trying to work through it, but no one knows.
Sure.
So it's mostly like that self-shame.
Yeah.
Also that branding that you give yourself, ba ulihlazo.
Sure.
Ulihlazo,
Yeah.
like you're not even
embarrassment.
worthy.
Yeah.
To be in this family or even on a church setting.
Sure.
That's how hectic it was. But after 6 years, and after I'd, worked through, myself and worked through with the psychologist, I came then to a point where I was like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't go back.
Yeah,
right.
this is my life.
So how do I move forward? Then I started, accepting. No, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. Doesn't matter where the story ends or how it develops from here. It's going to be okay. It was only interesting when I came out, right? So it was never my intention to have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I actually wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
And it was a suggestion that my psychologist made to me. Write a book combining everything that we have worked on over the last couple of years. I was like, oh, okay. But then it took longer. I was like, okay, let me do this one YouTube video.
Yeah, just to free myself.
Because I thought to myself, oh, YouTube is not for me. Because
Yeah.
back then it was only like beauty kind of
Yes,
lifestyle.
yes.
I was like,
Where do I
that
fit
didn't
in?
make sense for me. So it was only one video that I was going to do. So that was the I Am Still Me video, my
Yes,
HIV
yes,
story.
yes.
And it was so interesting that now I needed to kind of relive the story through
Yeah.
other people's eyes.
Sure.
Because I had forgotten. To make an example, I'll go back home and then obviously, we need to go to church on Sunday, the church that I grew up in. And then only then, when I start seeing people acting weird, I was
You
like,
realize,
Ganje,
Ganje.
yeah, it's that video.
Oh, sure.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Even on, some of the conversations that would happen on social media, for me, it's about, oh, by the way, yeah, I am in an HIV mixed status relationship. Only when someone raises up, hey, negative, yeah, that is the thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting how and I'm so grateful it happened that way, that I had the opportunity
To tell your own story.
to tell my story.
Yeah.
And the way it happens that I dealt with myself first.
Yeah. So by
And-
the time you got in front of the camera, you had dealt.
Didn't do anything.
Sure.
That, like, honestly, people can say anything they want.
You're not moved.
No.
Do you feel, do you still get negative reactions, like a lot of stigma, like don't touch someone who's infected? Do you still get that, or do you think people are informed now?
No, it's so the stigma has moved away from don't touch people with HIV.
Yeah.
It's mostly about so during a production that I recently did, right? So I'm helping this person disclose their own HIV status to a friend.
Yes.
So it's a balance between relating with my own story, but
Yeah.
also removing myself from the
Yes,
story,
yes, yes.
right? So now this person is having a tough time that, oh, friend yake friend yake is going to die. I'm like, why do you think uzo gula and they're going to die? No, because, now unchazela ukuthi une HIV. I'm like, okay, then nam dizogula and I'm going to die. because I'm also HIV positive. You should have seen their face.
Yeah.
He honestly gulped that water in like 2 seconds. That's how shocked he was. No.
There's no.
Ngidlala ngami manje. No. Wena umuhle kanje angeke. And that's when I was like, oh.
We're still there.
We're still there. That someone who looks like me cannot be HIV positive.
Yeah.
Someone who's educated, someone who's eloquent, someone who is free-spirited and can be anything that they want, they cannot.
Sure.
Because apparently we should know better.
Girl.
That's what I was struggling with. But how could you when you should have known better? And I'm like, guys, we're human. We make mistakes. We have access to a number of things, information, but izinto ezinje can happen to anyone.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope it was impactful and that you enjoyed it. To check out the full episode, all you have to do is become a Wisdom and Wellness member by clicking the join button. If not, you're more than welcome to catch the full audio version on any of your podcast platforms. Thank you for watching and thank you for being a Wisdom and Wellness member.